Tremendo, ¿no?
Everyone, I would like to ask the first question, and possibly the only one. But I want to be clear, do we all believe there is something that is the LATAM feel? Is there something that defines the region that is an amazing asset that can really ensure that so many companies can push forward into to the global stage? First of all, I'd like, Ricardo, your response to this.
Yeah, I think it's very important to understand the different ways that the people see the brands, and is to be in contact with the different services or products that we offer. Definitely, they understand the cultural and in the life of the people. Is the best way to introduce the brands, and is the way that the people feel the brand and recognize the benefits. No? For example, in Latin America, the people is most close to the brand, to the benefits, to the different options that they receive it. And for this reason, for example, in our industry, in our categories, we need to work a lot with different products, but with very specific differentiation with the target. One kind of bread, for example, in nutrition is very important, the grain, and you need to offer different options, maybe in the same kind of category, but with different options to the target, no? To the young people, to the old people, to the old people. No?
I'd just like to pick up, Juan Carlos, in your book on cortes, shorts, is there something in there? Would you say that this LATAM feel is more cultural, or is it economic? What's your point of view from your travels?
I think that it's very difficult to define in one word what the Latin culture means. It's very difficult, but I've been thinking a lot about it, because sometimes it's not the last 3 minutes, because sometimes it's not good, especially for the Latin culture, to be inside one box, because our history is not being inside a box. So I love the word survivors, because we've been, especially right now that everybody's thinking and talking USA and Europe, we are living a tremendous and difficult crisis. Guys, we are not in Latin America, we're not living in crisis. We've been in crisis forever and ever. So we know how to do it. So survivors related to innovation, because we are a resilient culture that knows always how to navigate and to move. So that's the key for me.
It's something that yesterday the lady from Google mentioned about this agile creativity, this ability to be flexible, this ability to change rapidly with the situation or with the way consumers are connecting. It's something that you mentioned in your presentation, Andrea.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare banks in Brazil and banks in the US, it's totally different. You have like over 2,000 banks in the US. You have 6 banks in Brazil for a country that big. Our bank has like 5,000 branches. You do a transfer, wire transfer today, you receive the money tomorrow. You can do that in Amazonas, and you receive it in Porto Alegre the following day. It takes sometimes 3 to 4 days here in the US for the money to be deposited in your account. So all that didn't occur because we wanted to. It's just because we needed to develop our systems, our technology, so that we could implement not only all the transitions and all the changes in all these different currencies and economical plans that we had. Imagine on that color plan that all the savings accounts were confiscated. All of a sudden, the banks had to block everybody else's savings accounts. And people had to survive with $200 in their accounts, or it was 700 reais at that time. So a lot of people had plans. They were buying apartments. They were getting married. And they had like 300 reais in their pockets to survive for the month, because the president, the nuts guy, had blocked all the savings accounts. So all those adversities make the banks really, really efficient in the Brazilian market. So it's not comparable to any place else in the world. So, I mean, we have the onus and the bonus. Yeah. It served to a purpose. And when you ask about this Latin feel, I think we have many common things, which are hardworking, creativity, flexibility, desire to win. We are from a generation of people that grew up with very low self-esteem.
Yep.
Because people were always saying, you have this huge debt, you are not paying the US debt, you know. And I have a 11-year-old daughter, she has no idea what I'm talking about. And it's not so long ago. It was like 20-something years ago. So it's a recent history, but I believe in the next, like maybe 30 or 40 years, this is gonna be past, and then maybe other aspects of the Latin feel will be more evident.
So taking Andres' point in his opening speech yesterday, he mentioned that the region tends to look more to the past than to the future. But I think your point seems to be we're shaped by our past.
Totally.
And that is one of our assets. Well, this is one of the region's assets. José Vicente, your point in your presentation about this balance between business and ethics, do you see this as something, the fundamentals of your business? Do you feel that that's something as part of this Latin feel? Is this drawn from the culture?
I think this is not really part of the Latin feel, but to your point, if there is something of Latin feel, I think there is many, not something, but many. And I think what we have to do is to be as better as possible who we are. If we are as better as possible who we are, then we're going to win. Then we are going to engage others in our beliefs and the way we do things. And I think Latin America has plenty of richness to present to the world. Friendship, relationship, people warm to the other, people caring about others. And I think these are global beliefs. And we are in a era, in a more feminine era of the care. And I think Latin America has this care. And I think this is a tremendous advantage for us.
I think it's a fantastic point, well made. I know that we're going to wrap up in a few minutes, but what I would like, because we can see a hand. Let's capture your question very quickly. The gentleman in the audience, thank you.
Thank you. My question is for Nicolas. When entering the U.S. market, you made obviously some substantial acquisitions of Sara Lee, and there's some brands with a lot of equity, like Thomas or Arnold. Could you talk a little bit about why you decided to go with the Bimbo brand instead of using some of those brands that already had an established presence in the market?
Yeah, I'm Ricardo. No, definitely the local brands are very important for us. I just present the case of Bimbo, but the brands like gentlemen like Sara Lee, these brands for us are very important, and these brands are very specific in the different points of sales in US. No? For example, Thomas is very important at the north. Mrs. Burst is very important in the target in Texas, for example. Sara Lee across the United States, in the East first. But I think we talk about we need to think global, but acting local. And we need to move, we need to be very responsible with the marketing and the different ways for innovating in Latin America. And I think the companies in Latin America are already acting in this way. You know? For example, Grupo Bimbo is working in energy sustainable with parks, aeolic parks in Mexico, for example. We are very introduced with the people to obtain better results in innovation, for example, in different kinds of package to be sustainable. We need to move, and we need to put focus in this kind of projects in innovation to to offer these benefits to the customers, for example.
Thank you very much. I think we're going to draw this to a close now, but I think as a way of summing up the 2 days, in terms of the question, is LATAM region fit for purpose? I think we have 4 examples on this stage right now that demonstrates that there's not a lot to worry about, really. Both at economic and a creative and cultural level, there is so much vibrancy in this region. And I would like to ask you all one thing. If there was a smell or a sound or a taste or touch of this region, what would it be? How would you sum up the LATAM touch or taste? Is there anything that comes to mind?
I think it's heart.
What?
Heart.
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 I think that is, for me, is hope.
Hope.
Yeah.
Ricardo.
For me, smell.
Smell.
Happiness.
Happiness. On that note, everyone, I would first of all, and before you clap, I would like to thank these 4 wonderful people to give up their time to come. I'd love to also thank, whilst all of you in the room, yourselves for participating and filling in those wonderful feedback forms, which I'm sure you've all finished. If you haven't finished them before you leave the room, I believe there's some sort of Martina will capture you and hold you down until you've finished. But seriously, thank you so much for your contribution over the last 2 days. Also, thank you so much to C² for putting on this event, Charlie and Martina and the rest of the team. The guys at the back, the translation guys who've been working so hard, trying to make it even better for all of you in the room, and the guys behind here as well who've been dealing with all sorts of crises. Fundamentally, it's been a fascinating 2 days for me personally to come from the outside and gain more inspiration from such an incredible group of people. So I think we'll draw the conference to a close now, and we will see you tonight at the gala dinner. I think we're going to have a little reception just outside there around 7 o'clock, 7:30, and then it's off to the gala dinner. Black tie, lovely gowns, and I'm sure we're going to have lots of caring and sharing and hope and heart and joy tonight, and maybe even a little bit of dancing. So thank you once again. Thank you to this lovely panel, and please give them a round of applause for their time.